Hello everyone, the Nerdy Steve here, and today I will be featuring a domain control deck in Standard. The list is in the description below, along with the tweet where I got the deck from. I'm going to explain a little bit about the plan of the deck, and then we'll play a couple of games. So, let's go. This deck is a domain control deck, right? So there are a lot of different variations of domain control, but we really want to focus on this deck having 4 drag to the bottoms. And this is a really big board wipe that ideally will give all creatures -6/-6. You kill the board, and then you can do other stuff in this game. Now there are in the game. Now there are a lot of different domain decks, right? There are some that are more aggressive and other different control decks that, put creatures onto the board instead of like endless board wipes. But here we want to really remember that we have 4 drag to the bottom. So maybe we want to save our Leyline Bindings for problematic enchantments or artifacts rather than creatures because we have Binding and Kami War to get rid of singular threats. And we want drag to the bottom to be our big board wipe. And it's also important to note that drag to bottom also costs 2 black mana. And along with Topiary Stomper costing 2 green mana, right, you have to be very cognizant of your lands and the order that they come in, and what you're searching with herd migration for example. And this deck also has a really cool or interesting choice in Llanowar Greenwidow. What Llanowar Greenwidow does is it can come back onto the battlefield after you cast it from your graveyard, or after you bring it back from your graveyard. And so you could discard it to Fable of the Mirror Breaker and then bring it back, which is a nice thing, so you don't really lose that card advantage. But it can be activated, I believe, at instant speed, unless I'm misreading it right now. So you can, do at the end of your opponent's turn, if you want to, like, leave up a Leyline Binding or something like that. But, because it comes back, you can, cast your Llanowar Greenwidow, which will make your opponent potentially overcommit to the board, and then you use Drag to Bottom as a board wipe, and then you get to, fill up your board with herd migration, right, and create 5 3/3 creatures. And of course, I'm going to briefly talk about Reckoner Bankbuster, which is an absolute wonderful card and in so many different standard decks, and this is one of the ways for us to use our mana early, but also gives us a lot of card advantage over time. And also, the Kami War is a really complex card and does tons of different things. But the second stage, where you get to return up to 1 other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, then each opponent discards a card, you can return your own permanents to your hand, and your opponent will still have to discard a card. So you can return a Reckoner Bankbuster to reset all the counters to draw more stuff, or a Topiary Stomper to get another land, right? So the Kami War does a lot of cool things here, and hopefully it will help us win. So with that being said, let's go play some games. Also, if you haven't already, you should totally like, comment, and subscribe. That's a great way to help support me and this channel. If you have any deck suggestions, please let me know. I am always looking for more things to play. And I have a Twitch if you want to watch me play live Magic. And I have a Metafy if you're interested in coaching. Those links are down below. Now, thank you for watching, and let's play some games. We'll keep here. We just need another forest, and then our Topiary Stomper can help us get the Leyline Binding. But we do have the Strangle into Bankbuster, so we have stuff to do the first couple of turns, which is good. I mean, and I'm sure we'll draw a land in the next 2 turns. But maybe not, and you know what? That's okay. Uh-oh. We do not need another Reckoner Bankbuster, though. That is definitely for sure. Okay. An untapped land would be great. I will take that. So we get to Strangle the 2/2. we'll draw a card here, and hopefully we can get something to make our Leyline Bindings really, really cheap. Our opponent is on a very aggressive mono-red deck, and I think we can live. Oh, if we were able to exile that Rabbit Battery in response, that would have been so wonderful. Okay, reconfiguring. Oh, do you know what? Here we have a big 4/3 creature with reach. All right. I didn't even consider that the Green Widow would have been fine there. I'm gonna crew just in case our opponent plays a hasty 1-drop. Hmm. Well. We can't do anything yet, and we will take 2 here, which is a little unfortunate. Our Leyline Bindings will come online next turn, but hopefully it won't be a little too late for that. Yeah, I think our opponent could just put the Play With Fires at our face, because then we go to 5 here, and that's not good. This is also one of those moments where if we had Herd Migration early on, that would be really, really good. Alright, Defiler of Instinct I'm not too afraid of. That I am. Okay, well, we have to just... I think I need to Leyline Binding this now, because otherwise our opponent will... Any 1-drop can deal 1 damage, and we need to work with every single life we have. Okay. We have to get rid of the Phoenix chick. Alright. This is close. Destroy evil. Alright, we don't do anything. Sadly. Our opponent can't attack here. We get to draw. We got a blue. Oh, I could have brought back the Green Widow. I'm gonna gain 3 life, though. And now this can attack for 4. We're very, very thankful our opponent kind of got a little flooded. So... Go us. Our opponent does get to play with fire. And put a card on top, which I do not love at all. Now, the problem is if our opponent, gets something that can cast stuff from the graveyard, we're not in a good spot, right? Hmm. This puts our opponent on a 2-turn clock. Reckless Impulse, okay. A Mountain and an Ancestral Rage. But thankfully, we get to destroy evil. Ooh, and we win. We will keep... I wish our Jetmir, one of our Jetmir's gardens were something else, but, you know. Whatever. It's fine. We'll probably cycle one. We can use the Herd Migration to get a blue or black. And we'll probably get a black, because I think, you know, our first swamp's probably more important than our first island, but we can also get something with Topiary Stomper too, so it's not the end of the world. We also have Strangle if our opponent casts something that we really want to kill, but I can't imagine that being something... Oh! Perfect use of our mana then. Because we could have done an untapped land and Herd Migration, but now we don't, and we got to use our 1 mana 1-drop, so everything is working out. Uh-oh. Shauna is a little bit of a problem. So I'm going to go for the swamp here, because now if we want to drag under, we're only 1 swamp away. But this is going to be really, really bad. The Shauna is going to allow our opponent to gain a lot of life. But it's now a 4/4. So look at this, everyone. Our opponent will still have the Broker's Ascendancy, which can be a problem, right? Because it can make the creatures become bigger than 6/6s, and our Drag Under will not kill anything. But, you know, it is what it is. One, two, three, four. We're so close. Let's draw and see what we get. Oh, we got a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. That's nice. So, the Kami War will probably get rid of a Broker's Ascendancy, but maybe an Elspeth. Who knows?
I won't let a few thugs threaten this city. This is my city, and I'm going to protect it.
That is a Shauna. Alright. So now what do we do here? I think I'm going to get rid of both of those. We do have the drag to the bottom, which I like. Don't know how useful it's going to be here. I think I need to get rid of the Broker's Ascendancy, though. This is rough. This is very, very rough, everyone. Yeah. John's becoming huge. I think we'll just chump here. We don't want to take it. Another Broker's Ascendancy. Ouch. Thankfully, we get to kill everything with the... Can we return Shauna? Or no, this only does 6, right? And then our opponent discards a card. This is gonna be a little rough, everyone. We'll attack with Elspeth Resplendent there. I guess we want to, yeah, we'll drag to the bottom. And then we Topiary Stomper. Uh-oh. We need miracle after miracle to get out of this, honestly. The problem here, right, is our opponent just has a very big board that's getting bigger and bigger, and the Shauna has been refilling them, right? We do have, like, some type of card advantage, and it's usually decent enough. Or not necessarily card advantage, but our cards can usually deal with a lot of our opponent's things with, you know, not many of ours, but the Shanna is able to refill what our opponent is doing, and it is causing havoc. And I do not know what we can do here. Because we cannot attack at all. So how do we get back in this? We need, like, a Reckoner Bankbuster into a Kami War, into a Kami War. Into a Leyline Binding. That is a very, very bad Destroy Evil for us, everyone.
I've made plenty of connections.
Another wedding announcement? Oh no. Also, again, what is bad too with the wedding announcements, right, is they make our drag to the bottoms much, much worse. The turn where we had to return the Shanna to our opponent's hand, if it was a 6-6 and we could have killed it with our drag to the bottom. And so maybe the correct thing to do would have been return a wedding announcement to our opponent's hand. But even then we just give our opponent a bunch of extra 1/1s down the line, and it's kind of the same problem. But in retrospect, that was probably what I should have done. So I think also what I'm going to do is gain 3 life and thin our deck. It's not going to be that relevant, but... yeah. This is not great. Probably put a first strike counter on it. Vigilance and lifelink. Maybe our opponent will deck. Well, we just won't block and then we'll die. And cool deck, GG. Okay, this is pretty good, I think. We get to... We can't really Reckoner's Bankbuster on turn 2, but we do get to Topiary Stomper on turn 3 and find some mana that we're missing. In addition, we get to drag to the bottom. Now, if our opponent's mono black, getting our Reckoner Bankbuster is gonna be brutal. Because, uh-oh, right? I think we need to get the white plane so we have Leyline Binding up. We're very thankful for that Infernal Grasp, though, because we weren't doing anything with it with that Topiary Stomper anytime soon. Now, this is one of the problems with this deck, right? Drag to the bottom is really good in a certain meta game, but as you can see, we haven't really faced a lot of decks where it's good at. Normally, it's actually pretty decent against the different wedding announcement decks that you can see going around, but, you know, when the creatures get bigger than 6/6, Drag to the Bottom has that problem. And we also are running into a lot of mana issues as well. Thankfully, we got the Raffine's Tower. And hopefully the Kami War can do some stuff, but I'm a little not that confident. Tenacious Underdog, and what is our opponent going to crew? Alright, let's Kami War here. And this is very interesting. I think we just have to get rid of the underdog, honestly. We could get rid of the Bankbuster, but the problem there is the underdog's going to come back even if we kill it no matter what and draw our opponent's cards. But Bankbuster is requires our opponent to have to work a little harder to actually deal damage to us. Not to say it's impossible or anything, but I think I'm much happier to have the underdog away permanently. But we'll see. Alright. That helps a little bit. Because now we actually we're applying some pressure, and we have another threat that's coming down. I don't know what card I wanted there. What land? Probably should have thought a little more. But I think we have enough of everything. We have 2 now of everything, at least, so maybe that's fine. I'm okay with that. Pilfer, take my drag to the bottom, please. Thank you. Again, a Reckoner Bankbuster would do wonders here, and our opponent getting rid of it on turn 1 is so brutal. Oh, exiling that? Okay. Unfortunate. If our opponent animates, we snap block. We do not care. We want it dead. We're not going to do anything with this island, because maybe our opponent will then use more discard spells and get out of the way to get the one unknown card in our hand. But we need stuff to potentially discard the Fable of the Mirror Breaker, right? Tenacious Underdog. We drag to the bottom. And hope for the best. Though, quite frankly, almost anything our opponent has will kill us. And it did. GG. Well, everyone, thank you for watching me play some Domain Control in Standard. This deck did not work out for me very well today. I think part of it came from 2 things. First, we didn't face the type of decks where Drag to the Bottom is particularly good at, and maybe Drag to the Bottom just isn't where we want to be right now. With, a lot of decks, running creatures that can come back with Tenacious Underdog, or creatures that can get very, very big, or with Wedding Announcement where you're creating creatures over a series of several turns, or with Reckoner Bankbuster, right, where a sorcery speed removal spell doesn't get rid of it, right? It just seems like it might not be in the best way to allow you to, stabilize so you can get your really, really big spells to go. And I think that's kind of what happened here. Now, again, I think some of our draws weren't particularly great, but, the thing is, we have a bunch of one-for-one removal, and we don't really have a lot of card draw. And so when we fall behind, it's just very, very, very hard to come back from. And also, Leyline Binding and the Kami War are both enchantments, and as we saw, that kind of makes us really, really soft to invoke despair. Other, destroy evil is very, very popular too. So these aren't as great removal spells as you might expect them to be. Yeah, and the mana also wasn't particularly great either, and I think you can change stuff up. But to me, I think this is a really, really good skeleton, and there is potential to work out. This deck does have a sideboard for best of 3. There are only 10 cards in here, but I do think Sphinx of the Clear Skies might be able to find a way into the main deck and changing up a couple of the cards to really allow us to get something that can give us card advantage instead of, relying on drag to the bottom. I think this card is good in theory, but in practice it's just not where we want to be right now in standard. But you let me know. There is going to be other domain decks too, and we will try those out and see how they work. But regardless, I hope this video was at least somewhat entertaining, and maybe you learned something. I definitely did. And yeah, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. You could also watch me stream live at twitch.tv/thenerdysteve. I also do coaching, and all those links are down below. Regardless, I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.